Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a review of a Russian drama, Russian language English subs, released in the year 2003, directed by Andrei Sivagintsev, and this movie is called The Return. And the story for The Return is as follows. Two brothers discover that their father has returned home after years of absence without a word of explanation. He is a hard, independent man with skills that suggest a military background. The elder of the two brothers is intrigued with his father, striving for his approval. The younger is filled with hatred and resentment, a true rebel. As father and sons go on a holiday, the boys must prove themselves daily to learn the secrets of his mysterious past. So what we have, the movie centers around two young brothers. You've got the elder brother Andrei and the younger brother Ivan. Now, the relationship between Ivan and Andrei is complicated. Andrei is the elder and he kind of belittles the younger one. The younger one feels like he's lesser, he feels like a coward because he can't do the things that Andrei and his friends can do. And he is trying his best to connect with Andrei and his friends because he feels like he's on the outer. So he's he's very independent, I guess you could say, but it's not a good thing as far as he's concerned because, he sees himself as a lesser sort of person. So all of this is contributed to the fact that they haven't had a father for the last 10 years. They never knew their father because the father ran out on them for reasons that they never knew. So they've been raised by their mother and their grandmother, but then one day out of the blue, the father returns with no explanation as to where he's been. So this has been received with mixed emotions as far as the brothers are concerned. The elder brother, Andrei, he takes an immediate liking to the father. He doesn't care that the father abandoned them. He just is happy that the father is back and he wants him to stay, so he wants him to make him happy. So he's striving for his approval at every given opportunity. Whereas the younger brother, Ivan, he has a lot of resentment towards his father. He blames his father for a lot of his problems and that he disrespected them and he abandoned them, so he's not going to let him in so lightly. So the younger brother is very different from the older one as far as the reception to their father is concerned. So the father thought it was going to be a lot easier than this, and he realizes that it's going to take a lot of work. So he decides to take the two boys on a holiday to try and get a connection with them. But during this holiday, the boundaries between the father and Ivan are getting more and more distant, whereas the connection between father and Andrei is getting closer. But then as a result of the closeness between Andrei and the father, the distance between not only Ivan and the father, but Ivan and the Andrei are getting further as well. So it's a very complicated matter of family problems, and this all adds up to a very memorable climax that I'm not going to give away, so that's as far as I'm going with the synopsis. If you want to know more, please go out there and have a look at this film for yourself. Now, my thoughts on the movie. This is not a movie for everyone. This is not a movie that you'd ever see made in Hollywood, and it is typical Russian. Now, when I say typical Russian, I say that it is made with a great deal of skill and respect. It is a character drama, so if you're expecting a thriller or a horror, do not apply to this film. You can stay well away from it. But if you like your movies that are going to really make you think about life's issues, especially as far as absence of a family are concerned, then this one is a very rewarding experience, and I found myself captivated by the film, although it is a very, very slow burner, so that is going to put a lot of people off. Now, as far as Russian films are concerned, typical cinematography, absolutely breathtaking. It is is a severe feeling of sheer isolation, and that's something I got from another film from Russia called How I Ended This Summer. They use the remote wilderness of Russia to perfection. There's an eerie sense of isolation, there's an eerie sense of something is not right, but it's very, very subtle, so you're going to have to really concentrate to get that element of the film. It's just, as I said, a lot of Australian films make full use of their surroundings. They utilize them brilliantly, whereas Russia is another country that take full advantage of their surroundings. So cinematography is absolutely beautiful, and that's what you'd expect from a Russian film. The acting is where the film really does excel, and that's what it was needed, because for a character drama, if you don't have interesting characters and the characters aren't well performed, then the movie will really fall flat. But fortunately, each and every character in the film is interesting beyond belief. You want to know everything about these characters, and they're so different from each other that each person gives a different sort of feeling. The father has a very mysterious quality. Nothing is ever explained as to where he's been, so it leaves it up to the viewer's mind and the viewer's opinion as to what's happened. There is evidence to suggest that he's been to quite a few places, and that's the beauty of the movie. No door is ever opened or closed. There's a lot of grey area, so you can make your own conclusions up, and that's what the film's strength is. And as the movie progresses, there is more and more evidence to suggest that different sort of opinions could be true. So the movie does leave itself open to interpretation, which is something that I really, really appreciated, and something that the film really needed. Now, the acting, the father played the mysterious character very, very well. He was very subtle, and nothing was ever exaggerated in the movie. Now, what really stole the show was the performance of the two brothers, especially the younger brother, Ivan. He played an absolutely phenomenal role. It was kind of like he wasn't even acting. You can kind of feel that the resentment he had was real, and I don't know if he really experienced something like this in his life, but his performance was just so authentic that I was absolutely blown away that someone so young could put in such an effort. And if you see the movie, I would say, watch it just for that young child's performance. And if this is anything to go by, then Rush's future in acting is a very, very bright one. Now, the soundtrack, very eerie, and it really matched the film. And I also love the fact that each character kind of develops as the film goes along, and it kind of goes in a different path to what you would expect. At the start of the movie, Andre is the brave one, whereas the cowardly one is Ivan. But as the movie progresses and the father is introduced to the film, it's really interesting and intriguing to see that Ivan turns into the brave one, and then Andre turns into the more reclusive, the cowardly one. And it was a very fascinating change in the roles that I actually felt, it's very subtle and it climbs on you before you know it. And then you start to realize that, yeah, things have changed. Ever since the father came into it, it was kind of like putting a cat amongst the pigeons. Everything changed, and it was really, really well done in that it was done in a way that it creeps up on you instead of, it's not in your face, and everything about the movie is not in your face. So it's very subtle, and it's nothing that you ever see in a Hollywood film. My problem with the movie, however, unfortunately it doesn't come without its negatives, is that it goes on for a bit too long. Fortunately, the ending made up for the dragging sort of middle, but for the majority of the film, I felt that the director was making a point, but he just took a little bit too long to get to the actual point. Therefore, I felt that in some parts it was on the verge of being boring. Now, fortunately, it pulls itself together before it ends, and it does give you a conclusion that will make you think. But that's the same problem I had with the other Russian film called How I Ended This Summer, and I do apologise, my nose is very itchy. It's the same problem I had with How I Ended This Summer, in that it looks spectacular performances as far as acting is concerned, so everything on a technique value is very good, but it just took a little bit too long to get to the point, and it could have used a little bit more of a dramatic value. Things go along very subtly, and sometimes it just feels like it goes on for a little bit too long, and it's a little bit too subtle, and that it could use just a little bit more of a dramatic quality. But having said that, this movie, it really will test your limits as far as attention spans are concerned. But if you can get through it, I feel that it's a very rewarding experience. It's an experience that will make you think, and therefore, considering the negatives, it does prevent it from being a masterpiece. But having said that, I'm giving it 4 out of 5. It's definitely a movie that I would recommend to the more mature audience. If you want something that is going to require a lot of attention and it's going to challenge the viewer, then this movie is certainly one that you could go and see. So that's my review for the Russian film The Return. 4 out of 5. Doesn't come without its negatives, but it's still very memorable. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, take care of yourselves, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.